Lamech, a figure mentioned briefly but vividly in the early chapters of the Bible, stands as a testament to the complexity of humanity's descent from its origins in Eden. Introduced in Genesis 4, Lamech emerges from the lineage of Cain, the first murderer. Though his appearance is brief, the weight of his actions and words leaves a lasting impression, reflecting the growing divergence between humankind and the divine ideals that were intended for them. Lamech is first identified as the sixth-generation descendant of Cain. His lineage was already marked by the bloodshed of his ancestor, who killed his brother Abel out of jealousy. From the beginning, Cain's descendants seemed to carry the burden of their forefathers' sin, building a world that emphasized human achievement but often neglected spiritual values. Lamech's introduction is striking for its deviation from the norms of his time. He is the first recorded polygamist in the Bible, taking two wives, Adah and Zillah. This departure from the monogamous union established in Genesis 2 suggests a growing societal shift, where human desires began to override divine design. His wives, Adah and Zillah, bore him children who became significant contributors to human culture. Jabal, the father of those who live in tents and raise livestock, and Jubal, the inventor of musical instruments, were born to Adah. Zillah bore Tubal-Cain, a forger of tools made of bronze and iron, and a daughter named Naamah. Through them, Lamech's family helped shape early civilization, fostering advancements in agriculture, art, and technology. This declaration is one of defiance, arrogance, and an unsettling embrace of violence. Lamech does not seek forgiveness for his actions, nor does he display remorse. Instead, he seems to revel in his power, boasting that anyone who wrongs him will face a far greater vengeance than that promised to Cain. His words suggest an escalation of the cycle of violence that began with his ancestor, a descent into a culture where might makes right and retribution outweighs mercy. Scholars have debated the meaning and intent behind Lamech's words for centuries. Was he boasting of his strength and the fear he could instill in others? Or was he issuing a warning, a grim acknowledgement of how far humanity had fallen since its creation? Some interpretations see Lamech's song as a proud declaration of his own brutality. By claiming that he had killed a man for a mere injury, he underscores a terrifying shift in human morality. What began as Cain's impulsive act of murder has now evolved into a philosophy of unchecked revenge. Lamech's invocation of 77-fold vengeance amplifies the divine warning given to Cain, twisting it into a symbol of his own self-assured dominance. Others view Lamech's words as a lament, a bitter recognition of the violent world in which he lived. In this reading, his song is less about pride and more about despair, a cry that humanity had embraced vengeance to such an extent that even minor offenses led to disproportionate responses. If Cain's act of murder was met with divine protection, what hope remained for those caught in an endless cycle of retaliation? Regardless of the interpretation, Lamech's song paints a grim picture of the state of the world at the time. It highlights the spread of sin and its devastating consequences, showing how far humanity had strayed from God's original plan. Lamech's brief story offers profound insights into the human condition and the trajectory of sin. He stands as a symbol of humanity's increasing separation from God, both in his actions and in his words. His polygamy reflects the growing tendency to prioritize personal desires over divine intention. His boastful song underscores a world where violence and pride overshadow humility and repentance. Interestingly, Lamech's story is contrasted by another Lamech mentioned in Genesis 5, a descendant of Seth, Adam, and Eve's third son. This second Lamech, a member of the righteous lineage, is the father of Noah, a man chosen by God to preserve humanity through the flood. The two Lamechs serve as a narrative device, illustrating the diverging paths of humanity, one toward destruction and the other toward redemption. In the context of Cain's lineage, Lamech represents the culmination of a line that had turned its back on God. His family's cultural advancements, music, metallurgy, and livestock farming, are impressive, but they are overshadowed by the moral decay that accompanied them. This juxtaposition raises an important question. What is the value of human achievement if it is divorced from divine purpose? Lamech's story, though brief, carries timeless lessons about the consequences of sin, the nature of vengeance, and the dangers of pride. His actions and words challenge readers to consider the impact of their choices on future generations. Here are a few key takeaways. 1. The escalation of sin. Lamech's boastful violence shows how sin can grow unchecked when left unaddressed. Cain's act of murder was tragic, but Lamech's celebration of his own violence demonstrates how sin can become normalized and even glorified over time. 2. The power of words. Lamech's song, whether a boast or a lament, reveals the power of language to shape perceptions and attitudes. His declaration serves as a warning about the influence of prideful or destructive words on individuals and communities. 3. The importance of repentance. Unlike Cain, who showed some measure of remorse after killing Abel, Lamech displays no regret for his actions. His lack of repentance underscores the importance of seeking forgiveness and striving for reconciliation with God and others. 4. The role of legacy. Lamech's story reminds us that our actions have consequences that extend beyond our own lives. His influence on his family and his generation highlights the importance of living in a way that honors God and fosters a positive legacy. Ultimately, Lamech's story is a microcosm of the broader narrative of humanity's fall and the need for redemption. His life illustrates how sin can take root and grow, leading to a world where violence, pride, and self-interest reign supreme. Yet, within this darkness, the Bible also hints at the possibility of hope and restoration. The contrasting lineages of Cain and Seth point to the dual realities of human existence, the capacity for both great evil and profound goodness. Lamech's defiant song and his contributions to early civilization remind us that progress without morality is hollow. As we reflect on his story, we are called to examine our own lives, to confront the ways in which pride, vengeance, and self-reliance can distance us from God's purposes.